Start here or wait?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Josh Grelle. I play Tokoyami Fumikage, and Dark Shadow is my quirk. All right, the panel's made for me.
I'm not following that. Hi, Michael Tatum. I play your class rep for 1A, Tenya Ida, and my quirk is engine.
No engines stood up. No engines.
Shut up.
Check. Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Clifford and I voice Katsuki Bakugo. My quirk is explosion.
Hi. There we go. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Kirsten McGuire. I don't go to this school. I play Nakagami. She's from Ketsubutsu Academy. Woo! And my quirk is telescopic.
Hi everyone, my name is Briner and I play Deku. My quirk is a secret, I can't tell you much about it.
Well, before we get started, I wanted to thank you all for coming here today. You all worked so hard to deliver just such a wonderful dub full of so much love and passion. So thank you so much for all of your hard work. You guys some questions. Then in the last 15-20 minutes, we'll open it up to the floor. We only request keep it PG-13. I'm sorry to say, anybody who's cosplaying Mineta, you need to leave immediately. Just kidding. All right, so for my first question, you guys have all voiced so many different characters in your careers, from characters in iconic anime to characters in video games. Each one of them has their own sort of personality, speaking patterns, nuances, and I want to know, how do you keep the ideas for voices fresh and make each one so distinct from the last? This is really for anybody to answer.
We really just have a lot of voices in our heads. And this gives us an outlet for those voices.
I don't really, I know it seems like we must keep a catalog of all the voices we do and keep it going, but it's really not that complicated. I just see every character I play as just me in a different story, and the voice just comes organically from that. So I don't really have to keep track. They're already in here and they know when to come out. Thankfully.
Yeah?
I steal. I just listen to how other people do things, and I think one day I'm gonna steal that. And then I do.
Yeah, I think it's just important to identify at least one little quality of the character that you share in common, and if you can find that, then you can do further detective work and figure out a character that way.
Totally.
The director helps a lot too.
Yes.
Yes.
That's amazing. Anime dubbing is a pretty unique type of performance in the voiceover industry, I would say. It's quite different from anything that at least I've ever heard before. What made you guys decide to get into anime dubbing? Has anime always kind of been a special part of your lives? Did you watch a lot of it growing up? Please, tell me your anime origin story. The world wants to know.
Well, for me personally, I had started doing theater when I was fairly young, and I also really enjoyed cartoons. I kind of grew up just imitating everything that I saw on TV, and at one point I just kind of had this realization as a kid, like, oh wait, of course cartoons aren't real, those are actors, and I'd already been doing theater for so often just to realize, oh, there's more than just stage in terms of acting. And I really gravitated towards that because I enjoyed the idea of being able to play characters that I look nothing like, which is kind of what you're trapped by, and not to make it too dramatic, but it's just that you are kind of limited by your physical appearance on stage and on camera. Mm-hmm. But with voice work, it's just, if you can sound like it, you can play it.
You can be anybody.
Yeah. I had this very same experience actually. I grew up on the stage, loved it, and then voice work just kind of came along. You use an interesting word. You say, what made us decide to be voice actors? I don't think any of us decided to be voice actors. We just found like, oh, you want me to voice act? Cool. Actors
Just appeared on set one day and said, you.
Actors just kind of go where the work is, and we find, oh, this is cool. I've been acting on stage for all my life, and when some friends at Funimation were like, hey, do you want to jump in the booth and try this out? And I'd never done it before, so I was like, let's see if I can make it work, and suddenly here I am. So yeah, it's just kind of, actors lead weird lives, and we end up just finding ourselves in all kinds of strange places. But yeah, theater was a very important part of it for me, and I love what you said about when you're acting for on camera or on stage, you're very limited by your appearance and your age and your gender and all that, which is, just kind of the reality of the business. But oh man, it's so great to get to explore your range as an actor with voice, because you can do anything. They don't even care what you're wearing. I've recorded in my pajamas.
And while we can't identify them, some have recorded absolutely naked. I thought we agreed you'd never talk about that again, John. We live in Texas. The summers get hot. Those things are AC.
I don't blame them. I had flip-flops on.
I had studied film growing up throughout my whole life, and I came home from college one day and had a conversation with my dad, who was like, I thought it was weird you wanted to be a film director because your whole life's been about cartoons, and I was like, crap. So it was about that point that I kind of changed focus, because I was always really interested in cartoons and had a fascination with it. So I did, even though Mr. Tatum just said otherwise, I did decide to go and become a voice actor because it was what I was interested in. And so I moved across the country down to Texas and pursued that, and eventually met Chris Sabat, who heard my demo and called me in for something, and then passed on my info to those at Funimation, and because Sabat owns his own studio, and then he passed it on to Funimation, and then Funimation hasn't let me leave.
He has a bed at the studio.
There's no bed. He just sleeps on the floor. Well, I am a nerd. I'm a professional nerd. I've always been a big anime fan. It's been a very big influence on me, and I wanted to be a comic book artist because that seemed a lot more realistic than this. And so I did theater in high school. I don't want to brag, but I was Toto in The Wizard of Oz. You guys did good. But I was selling my comics at conventions, and I met another voice actor who also did art, and we were talking about art and acting and things like that. And he was like, yeah, we just record right here in Dallas. And I was like, I didn't realize Funimation was in Dallas. I was like, well, that's cool. Like, I watch anime. That's neat. And he was like, you should do their open auditions. And I was like, well, maybe I will. And, maybe I will. And so I did this really cool thing. You guys could do it too if you want. I went to Google. I Googled how to be a voice actor for Funimation. And there was a bunch of information about it. And I read it. And then I submitted some information to Funimation, and I told them what I could do. I followed the guidelines. There were very specific guidelines. I'm like, yes, I too can follow instructions. I'm an adult. And so I followed the guidelines. I was like, this is my range, this is my experience as an actor, and I can also bark like a small dog. I really did put that in there. And I didn't hear anything for 5 months, and I was like, yeah, I don't blame you, I wouldn't hire me either. And then 5 months later, they were like, do you want to do an open audition? And I said, sure. And then I went back to Google, and I Googled voice acting. And I read up a bunch, and I practiced reading out loud, which is something you guys can all do for free. And then I went in and auditioned, and I've been working there also ever since. So that's me.
Kirsten, I have to ask, can we hear your Toto impression?
Yeah. Well, okay, here we go.
I was transported. The land of Oz. We're not in Kansas anymore.
That's the bark that launched 100 ships.
I grew up doing a lot of theater. I got into it when I was really little, and I sort of found a love for it. So I pursued that through stage and musical theater, a lot of musical theater. So being here kind of reignites my dreams of grandeur on Broadway. But much sort of the same as the rest of them. I cartoons and video games were very influential to me growing up. All those characters that were so larger than life that I got to hang around with. And yeah, there was a point in my life where I had decided to move out to Texas to finish up school, and it turned out to be a pretty burgeoning voiceover hub. So some friends of mine passed my information along, and about a year and some change later, I got an audition for nothing, just to see if I was even worth the time.
The open audition.
Yeah. So, and I was a little, they said. And here we are.
Fun little addition. You laugh when Kirsten says that she put the "she can bark like a dog" on her thing, but seriously, some people put that they can whistle on there, and that's actually like, people look for that. So like, you never know what little thing that you can do that other people can't, that people are like, you know what, you belong on television.
I have been a dog. Yeah, right.
I have whistled.
And I had to stun whistle for Justin once.
That's right. And I played a chicken.
Nice.
With me. We were those chickens.
That's right, yeah. That's right.
This next question is kind of a little more fun. I want to know, do you have any rituals or techniques that you like to do to help you get into your characters? Specifically your MHA characters like Justin. Do you ever look in the mirror in the morning and be like, I am the #1 hero. I am the #1 hero. It's like pump me up. Or...
I like to try to kind of like, just crack a finger or something. It doesn't have to be a whole hand, it doesn't be a whole arm. But yeah, at least a knuckle or something. No, I mean, I've always been very musically driven, so a lot of my preparation for voiceover is singing or doing scales or vocal warm-ups like that, like I used to do for theater. And in the case of Deku, he sets a little higher in my voice, so I'll just try to warm up higher in my register. And the screams that I do break my toes. It goes a long way. It keeps you warm,
I don't have to warm up for Nakagami. There's a sort of a fun story about that. Is Colleen kind of came into my office. I work at Funimation. I'm a full-time writer. She came to my office and she said, "Hey, I cast you in My Hero Academia." And I was like, "Whoa!" And she's like, "I think you're gonna like it. This character reminds me a lot of you." And I was like, "Oh God, is it a snot monster? Like, what is it?" And so then for like the next 2 days while I waited for my session, I thought, what does Colleen think of me? Like, what about this character? Like, does she have like a tree stump growing out of her? Like, what is it? And I was so scared. And I got in there and like her first line was like, "Hey Todoroki, can I get your autograph?" And I'm like, oh. Now I get it. Now it makes sense. So I don't really have to get in character because I'm already a nerd.
I just think about Justin Briner and the rage comes. There's actually, when we were, I don't know if Justin, if you remember this, but there was a time we were recording the first season. We were only a few episodes in, not very far into the series, and when we were establishing the characters, and Justin had just had a session, I had the session after him, and I was walking in, he's walking in, I was like, "Hey, break a leg." I was like, "It's gonna be yours."
There's not a lot of prep work for Tenya, because I so much like him that it's kind of weird. When the auditions came down the pike a few years ago, I was traveling, and so I had to do it in a hotel room with like in a pillow fort. So I'm like, I'm not gonna get this. And then Colleen was like, "Hey, so here are the characters. Guess which one I want you to try out for." I'm like, "The one with glasses that's really tight." She's like, "Maybe." And we go, I mean, really all I have to do is just kind of watch the animation, which of course we preview extensively before we record. And sometimes I blush, and Colleen will be laughing, and I'll be, "What are you laughing at?" She's like, "Nothing. I've just seen you do that exact thing that he's doing right now." Like, "What are you talking about? I do not do that. But I like to say that Tenya is just me in an airport. I'm definitely the guy that we're all traveling together, and I'm calling everyone on their phones like, "Guys, why aren't you at the gate? Our plane leaves in 3 hours." So that's kind of my prep. But I'm kind of with Justin, I'm very musical as well. I'm not a singer, but music plays a huge part in, I guess, how I form those little synaptic pathways that I associate with certain characters. And so Tenya has a playlist that I've built up over the years. And I'm like, oh, cool. And so I'll listen to it. It's a nice, about 40-minute drive to the studio from where I live. So I've got plenty of time to kind of listen to music, and it kind of puts me in a...
What kind of music do you think Tenya would listen to?
What he would listen to? I mean, what I listen to is like a lot of weird kind of modern classical. Specifically, there's a composer I'm very fond of. Excuse me while I nerd out musically for a minute. There's a modern composer based out of Alaska named John Adams, and he's written a lot of, he's written a lot of interesting pieces. But there's one in particular that's very long form. It's about 20 minutes long. And it's called Fearful Symmetries, and it's really good. It's like this little chamber symphony, but it's super upbeat and fun and kind of poppy, but classical at the same time. And it's just, I heard it once on the fly years ago and remembered it, and was like, that is a Tenya piece. That is absolutely him. And it is, and the piece even kind of develops until by the end it gets kind of dark and it gets light again. So there's kind of a whole little journey.
Oh yeah, big Tenya energy there.
Exactly. So
stain art.
Yeah, the stain art, definitely.
there.
So that piece of music in particular is one I'm very fond of, especially if I'm on the way to record Tenya. Yeah. What about you?
My warm-up for Tokoyami has had some evolutions over the years. Initially I would take like an hour block before I would have to go in and record and just hide in the t-shirts in Hot Topic. And now I'm banned from them all. After that I decided, okay, well then I went in my backyard during high noon and when I get the best shadow I could figure out and now and yell at my shadow and the neighbors complained. So now I just eat birdseed.
As you do.
I would love to be your neighbor.
Dark Shadow! Why is he yelling at himself again?
So thank you. To bounce off of that last question, do you have any personal favorite stories from inside the booth? Anything kind of crazy, hilarious, maybe a little embarrassing happen while you're in there?
One of my favorite things to do when recording, especially when Cliff is directing me, is to try to make him laugh. And at the tail end of the UA Games arc, after we'd all won, it's at the medal ceremony at the end when All Might is going up to the three of us in turn. And he comes to me and in the anime he says something like, "Oh, way to go, Tokoyami!" And then he goes and he hugs him and stuff, and then he moves on. But before we recorded that line, this is what Clifford instead. He comes up to him and Tokoyami goes, "I swear to God, if you hug me." Then he goes for it and just.
Tokoyami's beak goes right into All Might's armpit. Go back and watch this scene and watch Tokoyami's beak. It's just like right in the pit. Yeah. Josh is just in there like, this smell is all for you.
Oh my god. I can't think of any. The one that comes to mind is one that they actually filmed to put in one little extra features that came out when all the group of us were in disguise. And Colleen thought it'd be really funny to film our reactions to seeing those disguises for the first time. And so when Tenya comes out, and I'm like, I look like the bad guy from Annie. I actually kind of like that outfit. Can you wear that all the time?
Oh man, mine has to be the Bakugo bloopers. Have you guys all seen these?
Oh yeah. They're pinned on his Twitter.
They're pinned on my Twitter. But so Josh kind of referenced this, but whenever Colleen has had to in the past work on some other things. Like last year, she was working on the movie, and when she was working on the movie, I directed the series for a period of time for a few of the episodes in the licensing exam. And I have always made it a point that if Colleen has put me in charge of the show, that I make her regret it. And so I got all of these takes of characters just talking about how they wish they were Bakugo instead. and like the first one, I mean, you can, like I said, you can see them all on my Twitter, but the first one is Todoroki getting attacked by that like school of ninjas, you know? And like the ninjas attacking and Todoroki just got this like thing to himself like, oh, if only I were Bakugo. This never happens to him. so cool and talented and better than me. And David Matrango, who voices Todoroki, he does this line, and then he just goes, "What am I saying?" Like he seems so hurt by it. But oh well. I mean, whatever. We all know it's true, so it's fine. But the other really good one is there's definitely a scene where Justin only says "Kachan." He just "Kachan, Kachan, 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 Kachan." And then it cuts back to Sarah, the tape guy, and he just goes, "I see." Those are hysterical. Those are really funny.
I have to stand up for mine. So when I was doing the licensing exam arc, I had like a 15-minute session. It wasn't very much. It doesn't take much to say no, and then sink into your body. But right after me, Tatum had to come in and record, but he only had like one line.
Yeah.
So I received a picture on my cell phone of Tatum at the microphone, but he's very tall and I'm very short, so he's just like this. Recording his one line.
Yeah, and I did. I was like, no, it's fine, guys. It's one line. Let me just,
Had to sink down so low.
It's kind of good. I get my squats in today anyway. It's great.
Because I am very small.
And I am a monster.
This is an intervention, actually.
Could you be less tall?
It is not uncommon for me to walk into the booth after somebody else and just stare up at the microphone and be like, well, this isn't gonna work.
I have the opposite problem where I'll walk in and be like, where's the microphone? Oh, there it is.
Kristen is here, I see.
Oh, I don't have fun.
Work.
No, there's something that sticks out that ended up being a pretty fun moment that we kept, and it's I feel like fairly iconic to those of you who've seen the show. It's when All Might's like, "Deku, do you remember what I told you so long ago when we first met?" And he's like, "Yes, eat this." Yeah, that was supposed to be recorded by Sabbath, and Colleen was like, "Can you do an All Might impression? Why don't you just give it a shot?" And I did. I gave my best. Eat this, and it ended up being kept in the show. So that was fun.
So even when you're having fun, you work.
Exactly. We're professionals.
Thank you so much for sharing these wonderful stories. I've learned a lot about you all today. My next question is, what are some of the biggest challenges you guys have faced while embodying these characters like Cliff? Have you ever lost your voice?
Every time.
And you could keep like a mug of tea with honey nearby
Oh my
at all
god.
times?
I've lost my voice almost every episode. Pretty much any episode that Bakugo's in it for more than 3 cues, like my voice was lost. There was this one moment in the sports festival arc where they're doing the cavalry battle, right? So Kirishima's here and Ashido and Sero, and they're all like the base, and Bakugo's on top. And I had this line where, because he keeps calling everybody like names, right? He doesn't know their names, so he keeps being like, "Elbow guy, tape him," like whatever. But then he doesn't know Ashido's name either, so he's like, "Raccoon eyes, lay down a thing of acid," whatever. And I could get Raccoon eyes out, but I couldn't get the rest of the line out because my voice just kept going, "Get out of the acid!" And like Colleen was like, "Go get tea." We're gonna take a few minutes. You've only got a few more cues left. Go get some tea. And like we powered through it, but like there was like a half-hour break. I had recorded Raccoon Eyes, and then I had to come back and finish the cue like a half an hour later because I was dying. He screamed so much.
You're so angry. You just gotta stop being angry.
I can't stop thinking about Justin Briner.
Anyone else have any big challenges? Oh, sorry. Anybody else have any big challenges that?
I bled for this show.
Oh yeah.
That's a great story.
There's a
I
good
won't
story.
say any more than that.
Okay, I'll tell you. So if you guys haven't seen, we do all these special features. They're called Inside the Episodes. Have you guys seen them?
Yes.
They're all on animation.com, the app, and I think they're on the DVDs as special features and stuff. And when we had the team-up episode between Deku and Bakugo, they had Justin and I do this one together. And he came in, we decided, I was like, wouldn't it be funny if we did this thing where you're doing the intro to it and I come in, I take over the Inside the Episode, you know? And he's like, yeah, it'd be really funny. And so we do it, we film it, it's fine. We have to do the shot again because the cinematographer, she wants some different lighting. And she's like, I'm gonna take off this sound panel on the wall too, because it might be in the shot. So I was like, okay, so she takes off this thing, and those sound panels, if you guys don't know, are mounted to the walls with these metal brackets that have these very, very sharp triangles that the sound panels get dug into, okay? And so they're like, okay, let's do it again. And so we do the intro again. The second time, Justin hits that panel. And we finish the intro, and all of a sudden Justin just goes, I hurt myself. And we're like, what? And we look over, and Justin has this cut, this like deep cut on his arm.
It was a gash.
And blood's just pouring out of it. And we're like, ha! And so like we stop everything, they wrap his arm up, and what a trooper. Justin finishes recording the Inside the Episode, and then Colleen takes him to the emergency room. And he got, what, 3 stitches?
Yeah, it wasn't anything major.
Yeah, you know. No, it wasn't anything major.
What's great about this is I constantly see Justin at Funimation, like chilling on the couch or whatever, and he's always like the happiest dude. And so I'm always like, hey, Justin! And I'll like wave from afar and like walk up to him. And so like I'm walking, like I see him sitting on the couch and I'm like, hey, Justin, how are you? What are you doing? He's like, I'm doing great. And I was like, oh my God, what happened to your arm? What? And he's like, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. And I was looking all sad. And I was like, what happened? Why are you smiling?
Just happy to be here.
That's what you call method acting.
Never have we been more in character.
And apparently, like, that is still, like, on record as being the worst production-related injury that's ever happened in the history of Funimation.
Cheers for bleeding.
I was 182 days accident-free.
Only.
Now I have one more question before we turn it over to our lovely audience, and that is, conversely, what is the most fulfilling part of embodying your characters?
I have a bird head.
It's just such a good show. This relates to just my character, but I think everyone can agree with me on this. Like, it is such a phenomenal show, and we all love it deeply. I mean, I know you'd expect the actors that are in the show to say that, but it's 100% genuine in this case. I mean, we all have a very deep relationship to the material, and we love it. And it's so validating to see so many people love it back.
Yeah.
And so the best, I mean, it really is, because everything we work on as actors, we love, and we put ourselves into it, and we run it up the flagpole and hope that it'll get taken up or that people will love it. And most of the time that doesn't happen. You know, you put your heart to something and you just, oh, bye, there it goes. And then this one just kind of took off overnight after the first season. We were kind of like, oh, well, that didn't quite get the response we were hoping. But then season 2 came out and suddenly,
Yeah.
here you all were. And we were like, guys, what happened? Guys, there is a Santa Claus. And it's wonderful. And I'll say this too, at the risk of sounding kind of gushy and sentimental, but like, the My Hero fan community are some of the coolest. You are all, like, the lesson of the show, if there is an overarching lesson, is to just be a hero, be kind, find your power, help other people find theirs, and man, y'all have absorbed that lesson, because every time I see y'all being super sweet to all of us, I mean, going above and beyond, but also helping each other, and just being genuinely good people that your class rep is very proud of. Being able to say that is the best thing about my character.
I mean, I don't know how to say anything more than that. that's it. Is like, I mean, meeting you guys and hearing all your stories and how much the show means to you guys. I feel like always, how much the show inspires you guys, and then hearing all that from you inspires me to keep pushing and doing more, and you know, give it my all. So,
Yeah. I'm gonna piggyback on that answer because it's the best one. But being here at conventions and things like that and meeting people, and I play Cinco, the helpful fox, and so I get a lot of things like how helpful Cinco is to people and things like that. And just anime in general, there are a lot of people that are like, man, this really helped me get through my depression or this really hard time in my life. And I'm like, man, that is really special to me, like to hear that we help somebody through cartoons, because you know it's a fun job, but it's also a job that has the ability to touch a lot of people, and that's really cool. And to me, that's definitely the most fulfilling part of it.
Yeah, pretty much the same. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but anime's cool now.
Finally!
Yeah, finally!
We knew it all along.
So to be a part of a show that means so many different things to so many different people is deeply humbling and inspiring. Because, like, you know, when I was growing up, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way, I was watching anime, but if I talked to my parents about it, their eyes would glaze over. If I talked to my friends about it, they'd be like, what is that? And now families come to my booth and they say, we watch this show together every week, and we love it. And I'm like, that is just the coolest thing to me. So I'm glad that we're all raising each other up. Yeah.